to Nerdy 4, the comedy podcast where I, Amy Brown, ask fun and interesting people what they're nerdy for. I have a very fun and interesting person in my chamber, but before we get started, I want to plug Sally Brooks's book, Coming to Maine. We're going to have Sally on the show. This is your cue to buy her book on Amazon, or you can listen to it on Audible. And she reads it herself, and she has a beautiful melodic voice, and it's very interesting. And we're going to have her on the show. Send me your questions about it. Okay, I'm super excited because we have like a really fancy comedian in my costume.
Fancy?
You're a fancy comedian, Josh.
Okay.
Josh Sneed. He's
Hello.
in town working at the Punchline because you're a touring freaking headliner. You made the dream happen.
I am living the dream.
You're living the dream. And I've done a bunch of research on the internets about you.
Oh, boy.
Well, I first discovered you.
No pressure.
Yeah, right?
I first discovered you, like a lot of people, on Dry Bar.
Okay.
You have 50 million views on your special on Dry Bar, according to the internet. 50 million.
The clips add up to over 50 million, which is wild.
It's wild
to say.
That's a lot.
Microphone.
Is that like India? How big is India? You also
I think there's a lot more.
You also have Comedy Central albums. You did Just for Laughs. You are one of the most played artists on Sirius XM, which, Mom, that means you've heard of him. She loves it. Josh Sneed. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking time out of your day. You just flew into Atlanta today.
I did.
Yes. And are you a clean comedian?
I am.
All the time?
I am now.
Oh, because of the Dry Bar? Did it push you over the edge into the clean as green?
I mean, I was always pretty clean. Mm-hmm. Like, it was never hard for me to clean it up if I had to be squeaky. Mm-hmm. But once the Dry Bar kind of hit and I started to really get an audience from it, I felt like people were expecting me to be clean when they came to a show, even at a comedy club. So I just kind of leaned into it and decided to go that route, on purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's been great because, I've gotten a lot of corporate work and private shows and stuff where, I don't have to, get stressed out because I have an act that isn't appropriate for some company's, holiday party or something.
I would not know what this feels like to all of a sudden get booked on something that has to be clean, and you have to go through all of your jokes and try to find the parts that are clean and then try to see if you can clean up a dirty joke. I wouldn't at all know what that feels like, and I definitely don't have a list of clean jokes on my desk right now, and I have to ask other people if it's clean or not because I can't tell.
Well, it's not always obvious what's clean,
Innuendo, I don't know.
Innuendo, the Sirius XM thing that you mentioned, it is because I do clean comedy, because they don't have as big of a library of clean comedy to pull from as they do for literally everything else. But that library has very strict rules on what can be considered clean according to Sirius XM.
I have questions about this. Okay. Can you say beaver trap? Is that clean?
It's pretty. It depends on your. If you're talking about hunting, then maybe.
Can you say mustache ride? Right after you say beaver trap.
So probably not going to be on the Clean Comedy channel. But
I hear you can't even talk about duty. Can you talk about duty on the clean one? What if it's a baby duty? Nothing's cuter than a baby dutying.
I don't know if it's hard and fast that way, but I think they'll just listen to it and say, if this was playing in a car with children, would the parent have to reach up and hurry up and turn off the station?
Can you
that's
say
how I think they
glycerin suppository if you're talking about putting it into a child's anus? Josh Sneed, tell me.
I'll ask. This is not what I thought I'd be getting nerdy about. What can we get away with?
Yeah.
What can we slide? But you know what? I am, and not to shoehorn this in, but one thing I am nerdy about is when someone is very clever with an innuendo and they get it past the censors. Like on TV, there was an episode of 30 Rock.
Okay.
So let me backtrack on this. So back in the day, I say back in the day like it was decades ago, but when the internet was really first becoming a thing, there was a joke that a lot of my friends played on each other. It might have been a guy thing, where you would give someone what sounded like an innocuous URL and say, this is
What?
a funny website. You go look up this website.
Oh, okay.
And it would just be some silly little phrase, and then you would type it in and immediately see one of the most graphic things in your life.
Waffle?
What's that?
You're talking about Blue Waffle?
Blue Waffle is one.
What's that?
Lemonparty.org.
Yep.
What's Blue Waffle?
Pudding Fart was another one. Please don't look these up. You will be so mad that you did. But as a guy thing in their 20s, of course that's what you did to your friends. Like, dude,
And then you gave him a wedgie.
Lemonparty.org was
And a titty twister.
No.
And then you fart on their toothbrush.
This is worse. I mean, that's like high school stuff. This is like
worse.
High tech pranking of your friends. So lemonparty.org specifically.
Should I not Google this?
Don't go to
Do not go to this.
Okay.
No one go to this. I'm telling you what it is so that you don't have to. If you typed in lemonparty.org, instantly you were watching senior citizen men in an orgy. I don't know another way to describe it.
That's
it was
a
just
lot of
like
wrinkles.
it just instantly you're like, what? And you shut
It's like
it down.
hairless cats boning.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Awful.
Oh.
Awful stuff.
Ooh. But is this like when they try to bring drugs into the school systems to show the children don't do this, and then they're like, wait, what's that? That's what the drugs look like? Cool. And then they go out and they find the drugs and they do them? Is
everyone asking him if he saw an old man orgy and it made him want to go have an old man orgy?
You know what? Not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
Not at all.
You go back to your friend. He's like, hey, did I get you? You're like, hey, you opened up a whole new.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? I've been meaning to thank you for that. It's a bookmark now.
You saw me for who I am.
Can't go to that site enough.
And at any rate, that website will forever be burned into my memory.
Yeah.
And so
trauma.
Years later, I'm watching 30 Rock, and Tina Fey's character on 30 Rock is Liz Lemon, and her father, Richard Lemon, comes to town during their like holiday season, and basically he's trying to just stay out of the way while she's working. But they're having a holiday party, and she's trying to get him to come, and he's not into it. But finally, the boss, Alec Baldwin, says, I insist that you show up to this holiday event. And the line from her dad was, okay, I mean, what's a lemon party without old Dick? And it was on NBC, like primetime TV. And I couldn't catch my breath. I was laughing so hard. And I thought, there's clearly whoever's in charge of the censors did not know that reference.
Yeah.
But if you got suckered into pulling up that website, at some point you knew exactly what that joke was. And the fact that they snuck that
That's
in,
fantastic.
I was like,
That's like an Easter egg.
It is. It was so funny. It's still maybe my favorite thing I've ever heard on TV.
30 Rock had so many. It's so quick.
Dense. All those jokes coming so fast. It's so good. Well, you have that joke that was about fish tacos. And
you looked that joke up?
I heard it today. It was a fish taco joke, and his wife ordered one too. And you're like, I didn't know you were into that. And so you snuck that one in a clean show, right?
Yeah, that was because people would ask, like, how do you come up with material? And this really happened. That we have this big group of friends we would go to dinner with, and in that group there was a lesbian couple, and I said one night at dinner they both ordered fish tacos. And it was like one of the funniest things, and I'm laughing and no one else is laughing.
We should tell my mom what fish tacos means.
No, we don't have to go
we
there.
don't have to.
She's too busy on lemonparty.org. But anyway.
Her afternoon is full.
I used to slip in. I used to be a lot edgier. Like, I look back now and I'm kind of embarrassed on some of the material I had. Yeah, I mean, just because it's stuff I definitely wouldn't do today. And I don't know if that's just come with age and hopefully some maturity, or because I'm, a dad now and I feel like I have a bit of a responsibility to keep it cleaner. But I mean, I even had a borderline domestic violence joke in my act back in the day. I mean, It was such a silly little throwaway, but I would open my set and say, sorry if I seem a little flustered. I just got in a fight with my girlfriend and boy, are my arms tired. That's what I said. Now, I would never do that joke today, but back then, I think probably most comics could get away with more than they could now.
It was way more misogynistic.
Yeah, and I just, but I look back and I'm like, ooh.
Oh.
You know,
well, we just laughed at it. Joel laughed really hard. That's an old flying joke too.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. It wasn't really joke. Making fun of domestic violence as it was
making fun of bad jokes.
Making fun of a hacky. Yeah.
Heck yeah, I think it's
with
a good
a
joke.
nod to domestic violence.
That's true.
A little
people don't want domestic violence directly. They want a little like, oh, to the moon.
Yeah, well, I think
to the moon, Alice.
I think it's if you're gonna do that kind of humor, like that has to be your whole thing.
Yeah,
right. Like people have to come to see you for that kind of humor. Somebody like me can't just slide that stuff in.
That's not your brand.
It's not my brand. Yeah. Certainly not now.
Yeah. I really enjoy your comedy. I find
thank you.
It's interesting and it's a little quirky. I think some of the stuff you talk about is quirky but right on. Like it resonates with people, and it's also like we're talking about Amish people, okay? Like
well, forever I tried to be a comic that was, what do I think the audience wants to hear? Like when you're first coming up and you hear things like point of view, and back then it was like, what's it going to take to get your sitcom? Well, the network needs to know what your point of view was, and I would just write jokes that were like a little bit edgy or that I thought was cool, and then eventually I just thought I could separate myself by writing stuff that no other comic necessarily could relate to because it was personal experiences to me. Like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people have gone to Amish country, right? But I'm talking about my experience at Amish country or Gatlinburg, Tennessee, or the Jelly Belly factory tour in San Francisco. Like that's going to be in my next special. But I'm trying to write stuff that I feel like it would be hard for someone else to take it or duplicate it.
Right. Yeah. Because there's only so much people can talk about dating apps and stuff like that. There's a lot of topics and premises that have been beaten to death. I want to talk to you. Okay. This is a non sequitur. Okay. I want to talk to you about the Cyclorama in Atlanta. So,
yeah.
I know Joel, my producer is shaking his head. He says I have ADD.
It's because she does.
Only you and my children have diagnosed me. So
yeah, and the future doctor or psychiatrist.
As long as I don't make the appointment, I never have to find out.
She's just into a lot of stuff. Right? Is that how we like? How do we phrase it around here? That it's like, what's going on? But
you know what procrastination is a symptom of?
Ooh.
ADHD.
Oh, it's
that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was waiting for a joke there, but it
tracks. I'm just trying
Who's procrastinating, Joel? Who's procrastinating here?
You.
Am I?
Yeah.
I just I need to talk to my lawyer.
I do funny things on the show, but I'm also just trying to convince Amy just to go get medicated.
Just have it in the pocket for when you need it.
I don't need the meth pills. I have a coffee maker.
That's called self-medicating.
Yes.
Also, isn't caffeine just like accelerate ADHD? You just get into more topics.
A lot of people with undiagnosed ADHD drink too much caffeine because you need that go, and then
Yeah. Basically, it's an upper. The meth pills is what we call them in our family. ADHD medication is an upper, and it helps people to focus who need it. But I've never tried meth, so I don't know.
Me either. I hear it's good for the waistline, though.
Right? I could use that's so. Let's say so is ADHD medicine. It makes people lose weight.
It's like Ozempic is like meth without the high, right? Is that?
I think so. There we go. We just did all of science.
Yeah. That was all scientific.
So how many times have you been? How many times have you been to Atlanta?
Many times.
So you worked 50 weekends in a year and so you travel a lot.
Yep.
You also run a t-shirt company.
I do.
You also did the social media for major brands.
I have.
You're really good at stuff. It made me feel bad about myself when I was researching you today. Like, I can't string two sentences together, and you have multiple industries that you're running.
Industries is a strong word. It kind of makes it more sound like I have ADHD, that I can't just concentrate on one career. But, for me, and not to get too sappy, but I lost my dad and I was very close to him. And so I felt like when I had a family of my own, kids, I wanted to be present for as much of their like important years as I could. And I felt like if I was a full-time stand-up comedian and living on the road, that it would be hard to be gone all the time and still be as present as I wanted to be. So a lot of these little sort of side hustles that have now become like real businesses, they were just born out of desiring to have some like supplemental income to make it so I didn't have to be on the road all the time. And then the residual of that has been I've never gotten tired of doing stand-up because I don't have to do it. I still love to do it. You know what I mean? I feel like that might go away a little bit if it was the only thing I did all the time.
Did you read Eat, Pray, Love?
No.
Well, I'm not shocked. It's not for you, but it's that's what the lady taught. Oh, so that lady who wrote it, Gilbert, is her Melissa Gilbert, or is
Melissa
that
Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie?
No, it's another Gilbert. This is the other. He's my producer.
Gilbert Gottfried.
What's last name Gilbert.
I feel like we're playing $20,000.
So
Elizabeth Gilbert.
Elizabeth Gilbert. She also wrote a book called Crazy Magic, and it's about the creative process. And she says, don't make your creative thing that is your soul pay the bills, because it'll suck all the energy out of it for you and it'll ruin it. She's like, protect it. Do something else to make money, and then protect your creative thing until maybe you get to the point where it
can be both.
It can be both.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really smart.
And then you never work a day in your life, right?
So what I'm hearing now is that you're really good at making money and starting businesses, and you also have work-life balance, and you're wise. Cool.
Wow.
No,
it's very kind of you to say. I mean, it's certainly the goal, but if any of those things was like really killing it, then it might.
I think you're killing it. It's so nice to meet a headliner that's not sad.
I'm not sad, that's for sure. But you're wrong. You're not wrong. Like seriously, like when I first started doing stand-up, I would meet these headliners, and I was like, my first time on stage was a month before my 21st birthday. So I got started fairly young for the time. Mm-hmm. And I felt like every week I was meeting some guy who'd been on the road nonstop for 30 plus years, and they lost all contact with their family because all they ever did was live out of a suitcase, and they couldn't pivot to another career because stand-up was all they knew, and they despised stand-up for it.
Right.
Because of what they gave to it, and it didn't,
It wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have
yeah.
your heart filled too.
But some people have just done comedy and are just as happy as I am.
They're called narcissists.
There's probably some truth to that.
Sorry, I'm on hormonal replacement therapy, and I think I put too much testosterone cream on this morning, so I'm coming in aggressive.
This is wild.
Is that what today's?
Yes.
Why today is like today? That makes sense.
That would be great if you had a different excuse every week.
Yes, I didn't get enough sleep. Oh, I have a whole drawer of them. We could do this all day. Fish taco.
Tell me about this thing at the art museum.
Okay.
I don't have ADHD.
I do want to hear about this because I'm a history guy. So.
I'm a history lady. Oh. So you've been traveling. So yeah, it's like asking you how many times you've been to Atlanta, because you've been traveling all around the United States. So you probably have seen a lot of American cities and have favorite ones. How many times have you been to Atlanta?
I mean, I've been the first time I played the Punchline was January of 1999.
Okay, that's the year I graduated college.
Okay, I think that's
we
right.
might be the same age almost.
Maybe 2001. It's right in that time frame for sure. Mitch Hedberg brought me here the first time I came.
Oh, cool.
You a Mitch guy?
Oh, I love Mitch Hedberg. Grew up on him. It was very, very, very sad loss.
So last weekend, I sat down for the Mitch Hedberg documentary filming in New York City.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
And it's going to be amazing. He's got some huge comedians already that have sat down. I worked with him a bunch, so that's why they had me. But he's got big names that are going to be in this thing.
That's
and
really neat.
It looks incredible. The guy who's doing it just won an Emmy for a documentary he did about Billy Joel, and then he did another one for Netflix called The Art Heist.
That sounds fun.
That's really good. But this guy, it's in the right hands, I guess, because Mitch is a very important subject to me. And so if somebody was going to do this, you want it to be done by the right person. This is the right person. If you're a Hedberg fan, you're going to love it.
Do you know do they have an estimate when it's coming out?
They've wrapped principal photography, but there's still some interviews that they're getting, but I've seen chunks of it already.
It looks really good.
So good.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been coming to Atlanta a lot over the years, and you've never been to have you been to the Atlanta History Museum?
I haven't.
Okay, it's near where you're staying.
Okay.
And they have like a farmhouse where you can see the sheep, and it has the Swan House, which is a 1920s mansion. Did you know that, Joel?
Yeah, I've shot weddings there.
At the Swan House, yes.
Yes, I've been there. It was also in the Hunger Games. And
yes, it was in the Hunger Games. A lot of shooting there.
Okay.
Both kinds, because it's Atlanta. And, get it? It's more fun when you just explain the jokes. And they all.
I like how you're saying that as you're picking your eye with your giant dime, like what? Like it was like, this.
Yes. Oh, where's my valet? So they recently brought the Cyclorama there. Now, the Cyclorama is this like 30-foot tall painting that is in a circle, and you're to be in the center of it. And so you feel like it's like the original surround sound, but for your eyeballs.
Okay.
And it was painted after the Civil War. You're from Ohio.
Yeah.
In Ohio.
Okay.
For this guy who was he was a general or something was in the Civil War for the North, and he was running for office, and he was in the Battle of Atlanta, and so he had this big thing painted to go around Ohio, I guess, as a way to get votes for him.
Okay.
And then a circus gets it. It travels all around. And then the circus goes out of business in Atlanta. The Atlanta Zoo gets it. It's at the Atlanta Zoo for a long time. They actually like couldn't house it right. And so like part of it was cut off or something or bent. And then Gone with the Wind comes out. So they decided with the Cyclorama to put actual like mannequins of soldiers. It's a depiction of the Battle of Atlanta.
Okay.
Actual soldiers like around the bottom of the painting, and they did one as Clark Gable because of Gone with the Wind. And it was there for a long time, and then like 5 years ago they decided to rehabilitate it or whatever, like what's that when you like clean it,
like refurbish or rehab
all of the re's to it, and move it to the Atlanta History Museum.
Which
and
sounds like is where it should have been the whole time. Move
it there. They had to build a special building for it. It's huge, this big circle building outside of. I still haven't seen it in its new location. We can go tomorrow if you want. And the last time, like when I saw it at the zoo, you would sit in this like it felt like a stadium and the stadium would rotate, and they would explain the scene that you're watching, like what the house is that's under fire and the soldiers. And it's the South is losing. It's the North is winning. The North won. It was propaganda.
They did win, right?
Yes. Shh, don't tell anybody.
No. If this was a presidential debate, then you would not admit.
No, right? You got to look back at the videos.
We got to look at the future. We're not worried about the past.
Yeah, so that's what the Cyclorama is, and you should go to the History Museum. That'll be fun.
I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not usually on my agenda. Like I'll if there's
you're running your 13
famous
companies that you have to run.
Well, like if I go to San Antonio, like I'm going to see the Alamo.
Did you do the Alamo?
Yeah.
Have you done? I hear recently they just redid the Alamo. It's like for seeing, like there's like a new
basement in it.
There's a.
I got the Pee Wee Herman joke.
As a Pee Wee Herman joke. That's right. They put a new visitor center, and it's really nice. I haven't seen it yet.
It's so Have you been at all ever?
Yes.
Okay. It's just so weird because you only ever saw pictures of just the Alamo, never what's around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see it and it's like, oh, this is awesome. But there's a Haagen-Dazs like 10 steps away from
it's right in the
it.
city.
It just kind of takes you out of it a little bit because you just picture this like remote, little fort. I don't know. I loved the history of it, but
yeah. All right, so that's a dead end. We've done well for ourselves.
I will put that on the list.
Put it on your
list. Not on this trip, that's something I would enjoy.
I love whenever guests talk about what they want and you don't like it because you shut it down so hard. You're like, "Are you done with the little Alamo story? Oh, you got to see the Alamo. Good for you."
Okay, let me be honest.
Let's go back to what I want to talk about.
I got nervous because I couldn't remember what happened at the Alamo, and I was feeling embarrassed.
Well, you're supposed to remember.
They tell you to do is remember. That's like the thing that they ask.
Mexican independence and some Texas people fighting and
Daniel Boone?
Famous
or Davy Crockett.
Someone with a coonskin
Someone
cap.
With a coonskin cap.
Yeah. I know what outfit to wear if we're doing a party, but I don't really know what happened. And I don't know who's the good guys and who's the bad guys. I got nervous about that part too. Like maybe that part belongs to Mexico.
I don't nerd out about the Alamo. I'm just saying if it's close enough, I'll go take a
Her
peek.
white lady guilt really kicked
I don't want to get canceled about the Alamo.
Really kicked. Who do you think is the good guys in the Alamo?
I have no idea.
Just throw it out.
I don't know.
Make
I just know
stance.
The border is very tricky politically, and most people, like most of Texas, is now the United States, or it used to be belonging to Mexico, I think. Don't look at me like that, Joel.
I'm just like,
it's so not fair that you're not on camera because your facial expressions are just cooking her right now.
His eyebrows are gone.
The thing. I don't know a lot about history, but I'm not as scared of this to just say I don't know.
I like to pretend I know things. That's why I wear glasses. I don't even need glasses.
Yeah, because this is non-prescription, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do it to hide my crow's feet.
She also wears lipstick that she's allergic to.
I'm allergic to this lipstick. I have to take it off right after we're done filming. But I like it to match my pottery.
Yeah.
And the Buc-ee's cup.
Yeah, what do you do to your body?
What do you do to your body so you can be a high performer?
So society accepts you.
You're looking at it. See, that's I don't know. I don't do anything. I try not to eat terrible.
That's good. Well, you have a candy fixation.
I did. I still
do.
Did
you bust it?
No. I don't think you ever do.
I didn't know if you go to cold turkey, you stop the craving and you change your gut biome.
No, that has never worked for me. As someone who doesn't drink or do drugs, I feel like food has always been my vice.
You have to have something.
When I was trying to think of what I get nerdy about, junk food was for sure on the list.
Yeah,
I can talk about candy, fried food, desserts. I mean,
Well, I don't want to get you too lathered up.
I'm never not thinking about
lathered up.
Yeah. Is that the wrong term?
I think I don't think it's wrong, but it made me feel wrong.
Bad touch. Sorry.
Yeah, just like, oh, you're getting all lathered up about your meal here.
We can talk about. I'm going to ask you a bunch of. I kind of want because I have a feeling you might break the nerd record.
Oh boy. Explain to me how you achieve such a record.
So I have several sheets of paper of nerd questions.
Okay.
And if you answer a lot of them right, you will break the nerd.
Amy's Gen X, so she likes to put people in boxes.
We like to label. We like to rank.
I get nervous like telling people what I'm nerdy about because I feel like I will come into a situation going, yeah, I know all kinds of stuff about this, and then I'll meet the person that's like, yeah, do you know this? And I'll be like, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. You know, like I realize I'm not as nerdy. Cuckold. Yeah, I guess that would.
That's not what cuckolding is.
Isn't it?
I think
no.
Okay, no. Should I Google that right after I do the lemon guy?
Lemon guy cuckold.
I don't want to get you all lathered up.
I said
talking about it, but
I said cream pie at dinner, and my teenagers started laughing, and I said, "Why are you laughing?" And
y'all's dinner conversations with your kid, like your kids, just like have blank faces during, because I've had dinner with them a couple of times, and it's wild.
I'm scared to death. My son is 13.
Yeah.
My daughter's 8.
It's
I am
coming.
scared to death.
Oh yeah, you're getting to
He's
that.
already starting to giggle at things I wouldn't have guessed he'd giggle about, and I'm like, oh boy. And when my daughter gets to that point, it's going to be real tough on me.
Is it emotionally because you're feeling shame, or is it like you're like, oh no, they're gonna start saying dirty things and they're gonna get embarrassed?
Yeah, I think it's more. I think as a comic, your brain is wired to just take something to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And this little sort of innocent seed, like you're 0 to 100 with it, and then you can't unthink it or unsee it. I think that's what scares me.
Yeah.
And I use the word scare as not a real
So it's
word.
just like, woo, woo, ooh, 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 ooh.
Okay, next question.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like a wacky
Yeah.
rabbit.
A wooga. Okay. All right, my friend. Ready?
Okay.
My new best friend.
Okay.
Can I call you that?
Are we going
Sure.
to questions already?
We're going early into questions because I think he might take the cake.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Amanda Dobbs was the queen. Vaz Sanchez was the last king. Let's see where you stack up.
I'm about to be the pauper.
Are you nervous? You should be. No.
Let's. I mean, I have no idea. So let's.
Okay. Have you ever been to Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not surprised. Sorry.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
And then
She loves to really make fun of the guy.
sorry. I'm
A
turning into a
lot
real.
of podcasts you go on and they're like, hey, let me find what you're interested in. I like that. And she just wants to set you up so she can take you down.
I used to. I was saying I do a lot of corporate shows. I did a show for this executive for General Electric at their executive Christmas party in the living room of his house. I'm standing on the fireplace talking to all these bigwigs, and they're kind of laughing at some of the material. And finally I just go, did you want a comedian, or did you want like a middle-class person to just come tell you how they live so you can revel in the, ooh, tell us again about the Long John Silver.
Did they love that?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
I-
rough.
I put it back on him.
No, rich
Yeah.
people love to be pointed out how rich they are.
It's fun.
I did a show. There's a dueling piano bar in Asheville that used to do shows, and I remember doing it, and like we all killed just because we were just like, it was like me and 3 touring comics, and we were like, you guys are so rich, none of us can relate to you. They're like, haha, you're right. And then we got tipped out by the crowd so much money afterwards because we were talking. We're like, yeah, we're just self-financing a tour.
Yeah.
People are like, here
Starving
you go.
artists.
This is my pocket change. Have it. I'm like, this is $50, and they're like, yes, it doesn't matter to me.
That's lovely. You can tell if they have like the
clip.
clip on it, and then like the hundreds start rolling out. Yeah.
I did a show last year for the Friends of Greenwich Point, which is like
Oh.
a marshland in Greenwich, Connecticut, and it's all the people
Oh.
that were
Arian from Darien.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really top drawer.
And I was like,
Do tell.
I was like, good Lord, like you guys just like paid people to come laugh for you. Like that's how rich they felt. Where it'd be like, that was funny, laugh at that for me. Like,
I never thought about getting a personal laugher.
Yeah.
Is that maybe because they have Botox, they can't laugh anymore?
don't like the
Not,
lines.
I'm not allowed to use my face.
So
Okay.
these are questions that I don't have to know the answer to. They're just literally
Yes,
like
and I want to say, yeah, just
like a personality survey.
I'm gonna give you a classification of the kind of nerd you are.
Okay.
And I do want to say I started this podcast because I love nerds. My husband is one of the biggest, but I am turning. The longer I've been doing it for a year and a half. I'm turning into a bully.
You are a bully.
Yeah, I just didn't know I had the side of me. I'm usually very hospitable and appeasing. It's exhausting. Okay.
All right. I want to hear more of these. I want to hear more of the check boxes.
And so the second part of heavy, but and I know you actually have like this. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have ADHD.
So Josh is a very special guy. Not only does he run 17 companies and is a touring headliner and has compassion, both sides of his brain work. He has compassion and intellect and is a good father and an amazing husband and lover. but he also
Now I know you're lying.
now I also know that you have this thing where you have a Star Wars collection and there's special signatures. And did you start the signaturing process? Is that something you were a part of? Dish.
So, if I had to pick the nerdiest thing, it's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
That comes from my father, who was a model maker for Kenner Toys when I was a child. He actually was one of the guys who made Star Wars toys. And so it was kind of
Coolest dad of all time. Better than a firefighter.
Unbelievably cool. And he made all kinds of toys, but Star Wars is the one that people are they get the nerdiest about. But it generated a deep love for Star Wars that I feel like is actually part of my DNA at this point, and I've passed on to my children. I married a woman whose brothers are just as nerdy about Star Wars as I am, so now it's like a whole full-blown family thing.
Ooh.
But when I was a kid, obviously I had a lot of toys, which took up a lot of space, and as I got to be an adult, I went down the rabbit hole of switching over to autographs because I could store everything in like artist portfolio books instead of having to need a bunch of shelf and wall space. So I have gone down a path of no return on autograph collecting and making projects out of these autographs.
Tell the story about the original magazine covers with the gold signatures for all three classic movies. Is it Rolling Stones?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yes.
Tell it.
Good for you.
How does it feel to be invited over to someone's house and then after you're in the house, you find out how much they stalked you?
It's like, wait a second. That's a replica of my office. What is going on here?
Do you feel unsafe?
So yes, Rolling Stone famously for the original trilogy movies would do what is now known as the Rolling Stone shot. So they did one for A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And I have all three of those signed by the original cast. So the original Rolling Stone for A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back had the four main characters: Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie. Mm-hmm. And I have those two signed by all of them. But then Return of the Jedi had Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, as well as C-3PO and R2-D2. And I have an image of that signed in beautiful gold paint pen by all of them, and it's pristine. And we've lost Carrie Fisher, Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew.
We're all getting old. Yeah. So how do you get them all to do gold? Did you send the marker? Were you there meeting them? Is there
sometimes? Yes.
Do you send
both.
the product to them with the marker or the please?
Yeah, if it's a private signing like Harrison Ford, he will not sit at a Comic-Con and meet people, but he will do a signing at his house and hire someone to take orders and bring the orders to his house for him to sign.
How expensive is that?
It's very expensive.
Did you
for him? There's certain people that either just because of who they are or the rarity of how often they sign, like Brad Pitt, George Clooney, guys like that, they sign on the street all the time. So if they're at a movie premiere or they're going to the Tonight Show, there will be autograph seekers lined up and they'll go right down and sign for everybody, right?
Okay.
Now, there's certain actors who won't even sign for them. Scarlett Johansson is one of them. Mm-hmm. And it's made her signature even more valuable because there aren't a bunch of rarity. It out there. Yeah. So Harrison Ford, his is more just because of who he is. But there's also like Robert Downey Jr., Natalie Portman, people like that who will do once every 10 years will do a signing. So it's very rare that you find
Is
them.
that their retirement fund? Is that they decided not to do a lot of signatures and they're just going to wait till they're old and then do a bunch?
It could. I mean, you'd be surprised the lines you see for, the fourth stormtrooper on the Death Star at a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
People want his signature.
So you've been to a lot
what Harrison Ford
is getting
gets.
for that. That's pretty wild. So have you been to a lot of Comic-Cons?
I have.
Okay.
Do I get bonus points for multiple?
Yeah. This is level Like, have you traveled to go to you spent your hard-earned T-shirt money to go on the airplane?
Last year, 2023, for spring break, me and the family went to
The whole
London
family's going to London for Comic-Con.
for Star Wars Celebration. We did 5 days of history sightseeing in London, and then 4 days at the Star Wars Celebration. So we did a lot of the historical stuff over there, as well as the nerdy.
That's amazing. Now, our little Luke and Leia, are they into it? I'm assuming that's what you named your children. I'm teasing.
My brother-in-law's son is
really?
Luke.
Really?
Yeah. But no, we went with Dean and MJ.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that. Okay.
All right.
This is because amongst your people, the Star Wars people, I feel like you are high status because of your dad's lineage and of your collection of signed things.
Yeah, but there's guys that have way bigger collections than I do that have been at it for a while. Like impressive, like a poster signed by 95 people all the way down to like the guy holding the boom mic on the set.
Oh,
I mean,
my gosh.
Like insane
Wow.
autographs. Or guys that, autograph collecting is really big right now, but there were certain actors like Alec Guinness, who was Obi-Wan Kenobi. He passed away in the early 90s, late 80s, somewhere around there. So there just aren't a lot of signatures of him at all because it didn't become a real collectible thing until after he was already gone.
Right.
So there's guys that have like tons of autographs of those guys, and they're just sitting on them because every time they go to sell one, it's just like $1,000 bill, $1,000 bill, $1,000 bill. Yeah.
Well, on the Antiques Roadshow, how much would your
I feel like that guy could go through my office right now. The way that they go through like barns in rural America. I feel like my office is so, he's just like climbing over piles of baseball cards and stuff going, what do you want for this?
Right.
But that guy just died. Rest in peace.
Oh, the one that with the big collection?
Frank.
Do you think anyone has his autograph?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Does he become a celebrity because of being famous for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fascinating. It's a real rabbit hole. Is there like a lot, and it's worldwide, right? There's Star Wars nerds worldwide.
For
and
sure.
I feel like they are getting more. Like it's not decreasing because they keep making new movies.
It's subsided a little bit.
Oh, has it?
Marvel came out of nowhere, so like a lot of
Have you watched all the new ones?
I've seen some of them.
My son made me watch them all with him, and some of them are very bad.
Yeah, they didn't grab me the way that the classic characters did, so I bailed a little bit after Infinity War.
Okay, so your Star Wars, might have to grade this on a curve because of the amount of Star Wars nerd that you are. It will compensate for later on in some of these questions.
Okay.
Have you ever ridden a unicycle?
Not successfable.
But you've tried?
I've sat on one just to see.
Okay, that counts.
It lasted about 30 seconds.
They're squirrely. Have you ever played a woodwind instrument?
I had a train whistle made out of wood. I got in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's pretty awesome.
Could you play any instrument?
I cannot play an instrument.
Have you ever worn a clip-on tie?
Oh, yeah. As a kid, yeah.
Okay. Death Star Lego.
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
We have it.
Did you do it? Are you waiting until your children are old enough to do it with you?
Oh, no. We have one that's in the process of being put together and another one in the box permanently sealed.
So you have 2 Death Star Legos. That's a first. That is a first. All right. Soldering iron. Do you solder?
I have. I don't as a hobby or anything, but I had a PlayStation that I bought this chip for that you had to solder onto it. You had to solder the chip onto the PlayStation, and it allowed you to play copied games. So you could go. I'm admitting that I broke the law, but you could go to Blockbuster. Remember Blockbuster, kids?
I remember.
And rent games and come home and make a copy of the CD, and this chip allowed you to play them. So I had like every PlayStation.
I think you can do that with pornos too.
You can solder it.
I mean, it's different but yeah, you can do it for physical media.
Yeah, that's exactly the question. You answered it exactly, nerdy properly. Yeah, so you can play more video games. Do you?
Yeah, right.
Do you?
Yeah, I guess that tells on me right there.
Do you have a cape? Have you ever worn a cape? Did you go through a Darth Vader cape spell?
No.
Do you have
I
an
never really
Obi-Wan
got into
Kenobi outfit?
I mean, maybe as a kid, as a Halloween costume, but I don't do the cosplay when I do go to these events.
Have you ever held a ferret?
But I was a Ghostbuster for Halloween last year with an authentic proton pack.
And
I built the costume myself.
Okay.
Now, how do you mean authentic?
Authentic in that HasLab, which is from Hasbro, which was the company that bought Kenner. HasLab does these really cool, they're like crowd-funded projects, and they did a like light up sounds screen authentic proton pack for the Ghostbusters. This sounds amazing.
Do you have videos of it on your internet?
Probably.
You got to give the audience what they want.
I do have a picture of me as a Ghostbuster last year, but I looked up I thought I was excited I have not done any sort of a craft project in a long time, and I found a guy who's make your own Ghostbuster costume.
Yeah.
So I bought the right kind of overalls and boots, and I bought slime, to like give it the right stains. I did a really good job. I was very proud of myself.
I'm proud of you.
The proton pack really accentuated that.
Was it heavy to carry around all night?
Not too bad, but people loved it because it's lit up and it has all the sound effects.
Yeah, did you get a video of the sound effects?
Probably somewhere, yeah.
Can I have it?
Yeah.
I think that sounds cool. So cool. You're really into toys, I'm guessing.
I am.
Yeah.
I felt like it kept my dad young. Like when I would go visit him at work, every guy there was like him, just like a big kid.
Oh.
And I feel like toys do that for you.
Reminds you how to still play, be playful.
I say it in all seriousness.
Do you have
I think it's important.
Do you have a Snoopy snow cone machine?
I don't. I might. I had a joke about it in my act, and someone I had one as a kid.
Yeah.
And then I had a joke about it in my act, and someone ended up giving me one as a gift because I had a joke about it in my act. That I
covet the Snoopy snow cone machine. Lisa Pattison had one, and my mom said no. I don't think we ever got it to work, but
you always remember the kid that had the toy you wanted, you don't, and when you talk about them in a conversation, you say their first and last name.
Yes.
I'm trying. I don't remember. I just there was two brothers up the street from me. They had all the toys I want. I don't remember their last names. I just remember John and Drew because we just called them John and Drew. Mm-hmm. But I remember their last names. But they had like they had like every game system, cool board games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what the part of my act was about, was being jealous of. So the downside, if there is one, to having a dad who works at Kenner is you only had Kenner toys.
Yeah.
So like I didn't have G.I. Joes or Transformers.
Not even allowed in the house? It's like
not necessarily
a family
not
that works at
allowed,
Coke?
but it was just like if you can get these other toys for free, why would you go spend money?
Because you asked for one for Christmas? Could Santa bring it?
I just was jealous of Doug and Dave Nuri because they had Lego sets that were actual sets instead of just a tub of bricks to build whatever you wanted. They had like a house, and you're like, oh, dude, how do you actually make a house? But I had a whole thing in my act about having like just plain Legos versus like red, yellow, and blue Legos were what I had, and then these other kids had beige Legos. Like, who has beige Legos?
I do like the idea. I know you said you didn't not want other toys, but it would just be funny if your dad's like, "This is a Kenner house.
Yeah.
You get these other toys."
Yeah,
out of
It's
here."
like the one thing he was really adamant about.
If you came home with a Death Star and Lego, and he like smacked it out of your hand and it rolled across the floor.
Sees you with a Barbie. He's not mad that it's a Barbie. He's just kind of like, "We don't do that.
We're a strawberry shortcake house, not
that Barbie." Okay, so we're gonna go faster now.
Okay.
Because you keep answering yes to the.
I know. I go on tangents.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm nerdy about
go fast.
side
You're too big of a
sidebars.
dweeb.
Do you have have you ever held a ferret? Speak now or forever.
I don't think
Hold
so.
your truth.
I've held a raccoon
Okay, I see
in
you.
a Doritos commercial.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Or no, I'm sorry. It wasn't a raccoon. It was a skunk.
A skunk.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna
a real
say it
skunk.
was you held Doritos in a raccoon commercial.
No.
A skunk.
See, here I go, ready to go on another tangent again.
No, go for it.
I held a skunk in a Doritos commercial. I had some friends of mine in Ohio that won the Pepsi Doritos Super Bowl commercial.
Oh my gosh.
Contest. They got $1 million because USA Today. They won the Doritos contest, and then USA Today picked their commercial as the best, and so they got an extra $1 million. So
Whoa.
they tried to enter again the next year. And I was in that commercial, and it was
you were the only friend they could get to hold a skunk.
Yeah, I thought it was a dog. I was like a dumb guy pretending like it was a dog.
That sounds very funny.
It was funny. It was a very funny commercial.
Trained skunk?
Yeah.
Can you
Skunk?
It's on
They're
YouTube.
pretty nice.
You can look up Josh Sneed Doritos. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Doritos. How much money
But
did you get
not
paid?
a ferret. I don't think I've ever held a ferret.
Did you get paid for that too?
No.
I'm trying to figure out your empire here. All right. Do you have a Harry Potter wand?
I don't. My kids do.
Did you take them to Harry Potter World?
We've been to Harry Potter
Did you do
World,
the-
and we went to London
London?
last year. We went to the studios.
Did you go to the train station where? Oh,
We did all of it
did you
in
go?
London.
Did you get them the fancy wands in that little place there next?
Ollivanders or whatever. It's called.
So, yeah, amazing father.
I remember this commercial.
You do?
I do.
It's so dumb.
Do you have a lightsaber?
Yes.
How many? His and hers?
No, my wife doesn't have one. I have probably 3 or 4. My son probably has 5. My daughter and my son both made their own lightsaber at Disney.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine is the guy in the shop.
Oh my gosh.
And so he went all out for them when they were there. It was really cool.
Can I be your child?
You don't even like Star Wars.
I like real estate.
You don't even like Star Wars. I don't know what you're like.
It's probably cheaper than those lightsabers were.
Yeah.
Josh has like a finger in every pie. It's like you got a guy here, you got a guy there. You met all these famous
It's
people.
important to have a guy somewhere. You know, you
That's
never
a
know when
real
you need a
dad
guy.
thing.
All roads lead to Cincinnati.
You hook a guy up with a free T-shirt, you get a little discount on a lightsaber.
Yeah, didn't you get to
know.
send free T-shirts from your T-shirt company to the cast of some Star Wars thing? It's a Star Wars show.
I've had a couple buddies that do different things with Disney or Lucasfilm that I've sent them stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. If you put something on the internet, I'm gonna memorize it.
It's
so be
awesome.
careful.
I love it.
All right. Coin collection.
Only a couple.
Massive card collection.
Like it's a problem right now.
Yeah.
Card
Okay.
collection.
Okay.
I got back down that rabbit hole during COVID, and I have not climbed back
Is it
up.
all Star Wars, or are you doing Pokemon?
Oh no.
Or?
It's some Star Wars, mostly sports.
Sports. Okay.
Sports and Star Wars.
And then is it clogging up your home, or you just bought another
Yes.
home for it?
Nope. It is.
Can you keep it at your T-shirt factory? No. Okay.
No.
Sports. Okay. Have you ever held a sword?
Yeah.
Was it like a family sword?
We don't have any swords in the family.
A family sword?
It's right next to the crest.
Yeah. Like, son, this sword came from your great
keep it
grandfather.
In the carriage house.
Yeah.
Next to the
It's
stables.
a laser sword. It is a lightsaber. No, I've held a sword, but I don't own one. I don't have
Okay.
it above the mantle or anything like that.
Did you do like the Asian ones that like I'm a samurai now, and you bought it at the flea market?
No, it was like a King Arthur type sword, like an old knight's sword
That's fun. Where was this?
in England.
Oh, recently.
Yeah, last year.
Okay. Aquarium. Are you an aquarium?
Like, do we own one?
Yeah.
We do not own
like a fish
one.
guy. Did you do a terrarium? Were you a lizard guy?
No, never had a pet growing up. I had a goldfish. We won at a fair. It lasted 4 days,
That's pretty good.
and that was the only pet I ever had until I got my first dog when I was like 25, maybe.
Okay. Do you love your
pug?
Oh yeah. Does that's late in life dog person.
Yeah, I always wanted one. My parents never let us have one.
They
and
can't have a
then-
dog around. It's gonna chew up all the toys.
Yeah, she's right. She's not wrong.
Have you been to any kind of weird camps? Bible camp, riding camp, space
Yep.
camp.
Yep.
What's your weird camp?
I did Bible camps all when I was a kid through our church.
Is that why you don't drink?
I guess that's probably part of it because my parents didn't drink. But I was just never around it. No, Southern Baptist.
In Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
That's not where you do that.
What's that?
Southern Baptist.
Yeah, it is. Well, their roots are in Kentucky, London, Somerset, Kentucky.
Oh, is that why you go to Gatlinburg for your holidays? When
yeah. Yep. Gatlinburg, Myrtle Beach. Typical Ohio vacation destinations.
You did research. You stalked this man.
No, well, the problem is, it's not a problem, but some of it can be discerned from my stand-up because I talk all about all this stuff.
Gatlinburg jokes for sure. Was there ever a time in your life when your family refused to take pictures of you because you had gone goth or something like that?
No, closest was when I got an earring and I was probably 19. My dad was not crazy about it, but I don't think they ever left me out of family photos for it.
Have you ever written fan fiction? Who inspired you to get the earring? Was it Dylan on 90210?
It might have been. It might have been. I mean, that's right around that time for sure.
That was what flashed into my mind.
That's hilarious.
Do you know who Dylan on 90210 is, Joel, or are you too young?
I'm not.
So my wife, you'll like this. My wife has a T-shirt brand that she started out of our apparel company, and it's all holiday based. It's called Dressing Festive. It's awesome. Check it out, dressingfestive.com. Free plug for the missus. But she has become a vendor at Christmas Con.
Oh, Christmas Con. That's going on the list.
Yeah. And so the people who run Christmas Con loved her so much, they asked her to be a vendor at 90s Con a couple weeks ago. Whoa. And we drove down to Daytona Beach to set up as a vendor there with all these people, 90 stars, including several of the 90210 cast members. So it was it's kind of fun to, like, you know, Christmas. I like Christmas, right? I mean, I don't get crazy about it the way that my wife does for all the holidays, but at 90s Con, it's like you just have those instant memories of, like, that's the guy that hosted Guts on Nickelodeon, and that's Urkel, and there's Punky Brewster, and
my gosh, that's fascinating. And I love that you're supporting her and her, like, adventures too.
Yeah, she's killing it. It's really fun.
What is she hoarding at the house? Because the Christmas people
holiday,
and it's big.
You're not wrong.
Do you have the fake Christmas trees? That is
we
really hard.
We had to get a storage unit because the pillows for all the different times of year were taking up too much space in the storage area.
You know, I don't think you need to slow down on your cards then. Cards are way smaller than pillows.
I encourage it. It takes the heat off of me for the things I like to collect. I say go buy your screen worn Gilmore Girls stuff. I'll have my baseball cards down.
Does she do pillows for, like, Easter, 4th of July,
all the holidays, as well as the whatever time of year it is in between? So, like, there's summer, spring, winter, fall pillows to go on the furniture between the actual holiday.
That's a lot of pillows.
It is a lot of pillows.
Damn. Well, it sounds like you found your true love.
We complement each other very well.
If we put all of your Star Wars stuff in a pile next to all of her pillows, which pile is bigger?
Ooh. Well, now probably the pillows.
Because you got rid of
just straight up mass, like straight up, room that they take up.
If you put the amount of money spent on each thing in a pile,
is it the amount of money spent or the amount of money she thinks I spent on it?
Oh, are you hiding
You're
it?
like, there's a secret second door.
The veneer is cracking.
That's like the inside joke in like my collector's circles is, like, my one prayer is that when I die, my wife doesn't sell this stuff for the amount she thinks I bought it for.
Oh. Do you have, like, a secret ledger
that
it's only
all
opens up after you die so that she can see what she needs to get the value from? That'd be fascinating because, like, money, stocks, you know what to do with. A bunch of crap, no offense. How do you know what's worth anything?
I don't have what it's worth. I tell her if I die, baseball cards, take them to this guy. If I take the Star Wars autographs to this guy, take the toys to this guy.
You're dead, and now your poor wife has to go on quests.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so she gets the best.
This is very Lord of the Rings.
That's right.
Does she get to take 3
it's like
friends with her?
Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, because that's what going back to Antique Roadshow, it's all about like the buyer you go to. So like, you can take something to someone, they're like, I don't use for baseball cards, but then you take it to another guy, and he's like, oh,
I want them all.
yeah,
Right. The one who doesn't have a wife and he can spend all of his money on it.
Yes.
Because it doesn't have any intrinsic value. It's like Bitcoin. It's what people will pay for it.
Anything is only worth what people will pay for it.
Well, I mean,
except for gold or
yeah.
something that has an actual value based on its weight, but anything.
Fair enough. Right.
I got a buddy that'd probably give you $40 for that Buc-ee's cup right there.
Oh, I might sell it to him. All right. So Bible. Now we circle back.
Okay.
We are Bible camp, and
Okay.
your wife's pillows.
Yep.
And you married the right one, because you guys can just hold these things over each other's head for
Exactly
infinity. Right. It's yin and yang. Okay. Disney wedding, yay or nay?
Would I?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Star Wars wedding.
No.
But you get to do it in the new part of Star Wars where it's all like real.
No.
Did you do it yet?
No, but can I tell you, did I do what yet?
The new Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay. It's amazing.
But I will tell you this. We did a honeymoon do-over at Disney.
Oh, okay. That's the closest anyone has ever gotten.
We love Disney. My wife and I love to go to Disney as much without the kids as with the kids.
Oh, so you're an adult Disney person. Cool,
Oh
cool,
my
cool,
gosh.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to the Food and Wine Festival and just eat around Epcot is like I'd challenge anybody to make.
Oh
fun
no, I
of
love Epcot, but I did the roller coaster there, the one that's Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster.
Oh, I haven't done it yet. Is it cool?
It's very cool, but I am egg salad. I don't travel well. I got sick as a dog, and then I just
boy.
spent the rest of the time in the Mexican pyramid drinking margaritas, trying to get my equilibrium back.
So that's hilarious because we did our honeymoon in Mexico and she got sick. And that's why we had to do a honeymoon do-over, which we spent at Disney.
And then how did she like the pyramid? Inside the pyramid, did you guys do the little ride in the boat around? You guys don't, does she drink? You don't drink.
I don't drink. She drinks once in a while, very rare.
She's got to save her drinking money for pillows.
That's right. It's either the alcohol or the pillows.
Okay, so you don't remember if you did the boat. That's fine. But you're an adult Disney person, and you redid your honeymoon in Disney. Joel, that's very nerdy.
It is.
She hates Disney adults.
I love them, but
We don't wear like ears or anything like that, but we went
that's where you
down.
draw the line.
We went down and did during Halloween. We did the Halloween haunt,
Yeah.
the big
That's really
scary
cool.
thing at Universal.
They turn it over in one night. They put it all up
It's
in one
insane.
night. Yeah, it really is magic.
You don't have to make me feel better. I don't feel bad that I enjoy this stuff.
I have jokes about it because I'm a theater nerd, and they keep trying to put us together with the adult Disney nerds, and we're not the same thing.
There are adult Disney nerds. That I would say we enjoy the adult side of Disney
Yes,
more than we are adult.
I went on
Disney
a
nerds.
women's trip, an adult women's trip to Disney World, and we had the best time.
It's definitely, I mean, I'm the only one without kids here, so I'm biased, but everything's more fun without kids.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I mean,
he's not lying. Okay, that's a big yes on the wedding at Disney. Have you ever said this is not canon? That's a big laugh.
I feel like I don't know that I'm the guy that'll call him out on it, but I feel like just knowing what that means makes you kind of nerdy.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever made a pet costume for a pet?
Made? No. Put one on? Yes.
Yes. Have you ever had a birthday party for a pet?
Not a full-blown party, but we celebrate our dog's birthday.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put a little hat on him, give him a
You must.
frosty paw.
I think you have a lot more free time than I do because you're not hungover.
You get hammered on honor your pet's birthday?
No, I just will be hungover and not want to.
Yeah.
You know. And also, I wasn't there when they were born. I don't know their birthdays. Have you ever written fan fiction?
I don't think so. I feel like I would enjoy it on certain things, but I've never done it.
Have you ever brewed your own mead? Oh, you wouldn't because you don't drink. Do you have a tattoo?
I don't.
Okay. You can get one of the Cyclorama.
all the way around my arm.
Yeah.
Instead of barbed wire.
Like, hold on, I got to spin for you to get the
You
whole
stay right
picture.
there. I'll spin.
Yeah. You want to see the Battle of Atlanta?
You can twirl.
Is that Clark Gable in your armpit?
Yeah.
Do you have like binoculars for watching birds? Do you have the
No.
bird app? Okay, you're not quite old enough. It's coming for you.
I got it from my mom, but not for me. Yeah.
Do you love Jeopardy?
I enjoy Jeopardy once in a while.
But you're not like. Do you like buying school supplies?
The missus takes care of that.
But you're not like get excited when it's like back to school season. You
I
like,
did when I was a kid.
This is card stock. Does it do anything for you?
I like the thickness of it. Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Have I asked you if you ever LARPed or cosplayed? Have I asked you that yet? I don't think I have.
I think you did. He said he doesn't really
Yeah.
dress up.
Okay. What's the longest you've ever done a video game or like D&D or Settlers of Catan or Magic the Gathering? What's the longest sitting you've ever done? And did you get a hemorrhoid?
I did not get a hemorrhoid. My old roommate and I,
Here we go.
I think we spent about 72 hours
Oh, that's a
trying
record.
to beat Metal Gear Solid when we were roommates. I know for a fact he called in sick to work because we thought we were about to finally beat it and he didn't want to go to work.
Yeah. That's pretty damn nerdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, video games,
Did you lose weight? Like, did you
probably not.
dehydrate?
Probably gained weight.
Yeah.
Did not move and just
Do you have to pee in
lived
a
off of
Pepsi bottle?
pizza rolls and
Can you pause it to go to the bathroom?
yeah.
Okay, I don't know how these
I mean,
things
that's
work. Have you, Joel?
I knew the game was coming out. I went and got a catheter and I just said, you know what? I'm not getting up until we.
You're
It's
like,
like-
Doc, put one of them things up my urethra here. I'm trying to beat a
you
video game.
Can you imagine?
Have you ever been through a magic spell, like a magic era of your life? Where like, I'm gonna learn magic.
No, I'm fascinated by it, but
Okay.
I worked with a magician.
You okay?
I worked with a comedian magician, and we were in Springfield, Missouri, and I told him I'd always loved like watching magic. I never really tried to learn it, but he took me to a magic shop, and he bought me what's called a thumb tip. And it just looks like a thumb, but it sits over top of your thumb.
Oh.
And that's how
Kinky.
you can do all kinds of fun stuff with the thumb tip because you have about that much room between the top of your thumb and the thumb tip. So if you ever see somebody like pour salt into their hand and then go like that and it's gone, just giving away secrets here. Ooh. It's sitting in a little tip on the end of their thumb that you can't see because it's the same color as their skin.
Ooh.
And then they go like this and then they dump it back into their hand and you're like, where did the salt go? So I still have that thumb tip and I will impress a
Do you do it with cocaine?
niece or
Watch out
nephew
now.
on occasion.
Yeah. Do you do cocaine in there?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's like, I don't drink or I just do a little bit of cocaine.
A little bit of meth to take some of the tummy weight off
Well,
right
how
before
are
we
you
film.
supposed to organize all your cards?
That's right.
Yeah.
There's not enough hours in the day for everything on this list. They got to stay up.
Can you do that same trick with the cocaine fingernail, the pinky one?
Just a real long one.
Yeah, can you hide it in there?
It's hilarious.
Okay, that was a pretty good answer to have you ever done magic? No, but I have the stuff to do it with,
You made
and
it
I
sound
do it
like
actively.
did I go through an era in my life where I was obsessed with becoming a magician?
Sounds like you went to a
I've
magic
dabbled.
store.
I told you I had a Harry Potter wand.
Well, that's a different kind of magic. That's the real kind. Have you been to a Rush concert?
No.
Okay. That's okay. Have you ever held a tropical bird?
Yeah.
Was it in Gatlinburg?
It was not, but my old roommate had a parrot.
Your old roommate had a parrot.
Mm-hmm. 2 of them.
Oh.
Yep, Louis and Diego.
They live really long. Did you like become friends with them?
They were fine to me. They weren't like overly friendly, but they were funny.
Were they funny? Did you dress them up?
No. No, but
Did you video them?
One of them could imitate my roommate's girlfriend.
Oh.
And it was hilarious because I thought she was in our apartment looking for him once because Lou was just going, Brian? Brian? And it sounded just like Annie. And they're now married with 5 children. But it was hilarious because I'm in bed and I'm like, why is she in our apartment right now? Brian?
I thought you were going to say that he was going,
I did not tell that story.
They have 5 kids.
So Disney.
Anyway, let's wrap up the podcast
keep it on
now.
brand.
Let's tell
We're
him
gonna
what
keep
kind
it
of
on
nerd
brand.
he is.
All right. We are almost done. You have murdered everything. You're doing so great.
I don't know that that's a compliment. But
No,
I'll
it's great.
take it.
King of the Nerds? Yes, please. That's why you're so good at making money, too. Do you know all the words to a musical?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like all the words or like I'm
Most-
pretty, I
yeah.
would say I'm.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Okay. Look at you. You're doing all the kinds of nerd.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the dressing up part.
Hamilton, My Fair Lady. I could do a lot of them, honestly.
Oh.
All the Disney stuff.
Oh,
I really like the theater.
you do?
Yeah. I'm borderline obsessed with Hamilton. Like that one kind of changed me and I've seen a lot.
I like the parts about Hamilton where they put little cues in about history.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the second act, you come back and all the dancers who are women are wearing black ribbons on their neck to represent that the French Revolution has started. And women, that was a fashion of the time to show that you felt bad for all the people who were getting guillotined.
That's a deep cut. I have the book.
Who's the nerd now,
Yeah.
nerd?
You were in the room where it happened.
Ayo, pew, pew, pew. What's your book? Tell me about your book.
My book?
Yeah, you
What
said
book?
you have a book.
Oh, I bought a book for my son that goes through the entire show with little footnotes of like this was a reference to this rap song or this was a callback to something else. Like it literally lays out every little thing.
Everything is so thoughtful about what they did there.
Yeah.
I like it too.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I have that book actually, but I can't read, so I think I just put it on the shelf. I'm very dyslexic. It's slowing me down as a nerd. Did you read Ready Player One?
I didn't read it. I saw the movie.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Did you hard relate?
I think it's not as far into the future as people would have thought by watching it.
I think about that every day.
I think that kind of technology is right around the corner. I'm curious to see what this next one's going to look like.
Ready Player Two. Yeah, I'm excited too. Are you PADI certified? Do you scuba?
I don't.
Do you have a pilot's license?
I do not.
That might just be rich people stuff. Do you have a perfect attendance award?
No.
Oh,
That's a tough one.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring up something that was...
Fourth grade.
Okay.
I was always wanting perfect attendance. Never happened. 4th grade. There's 3 days left of school. This is maybe 1987-ish. I'm riding my bike to school. And a cicada,
Oh, God.
the 17-year cicadas, lands on my back while I'm riding my bike. I turn around to see what it is. I hit a parked car.
Oh, my
and
God.
flip over, have a concussion, knocked unconscious, and I missed the last 3 days of school, including field day,
Oh.
because of a cicada. That was the closest I ever came to perfect attendance.
That's quite
And
a
that
story.
still haunts me.
It still haunts you.
I was this close.
Yeah. You are the new king of Nerdy 4. I'm sorry you can't go back to your family. You have to live here now. Thank you for coming on my show.
Are you kidding me? How fun was this?
And being the new king of all the nerds. I'm working on I think we're going to make a custom cape to give out to people.
Oh, so I can check that one off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Finally.
I will bedazzle a King of Nerdy 4 cape for you and send it, and then you can laugh at how poorly I made it because I don't have a
this
t-shirt
shirt
coming.
because I thought it was nice and
Ooh.
nerdy. It's
Hot
Sundays. Go
Sunday.
for it. It's
Saved by the
It's the
Bell.
Saved by the Bell girl.
Did you
group
buy that
they
at Nandy's
formed.
Con, or did you
My
make it?
wife made
Your
it.
wife made it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put the link to your wife's businesses
That'd be fantastic.
and your businesses in the notes. And then where can people find you? What's next? What should they look out for you?
So I have a bunch of tour dates coming up. I'm in Atlanta this weekend. Got San Francisco, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then November 15th, I am filming my next special.
Ooh.
at a theater in Cincinnati. So it's very exciting for me to do that in my hometown at a theater.
That's nice.
So that'll come out sometime early next year, I would assume. Other than that, it's just
Is it going to come
touring
out?
and slinging
Do you know
shirts.
where it's going to come out yet? Or are you
Not
still
yet.
working in
We
those
are
negotiations?
shopping it around.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it though. So.
Well, you have been an absolute dream and a delight. I will drive you now to see the Cyclorama.
Let's go.